So recently we did a video on a $15 single board computer, turning it into a retro emulation console that I thought was pretty awesome. Doing it myself, adding only the games I'm interested in playing. And I think at some point, because I'm going to be expanding upon it, I may just give the build away, the whole setup, do something with it. I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. But I wanted to continue on, as a lot of people seemed interested in this setup, in this whole prospect of a cheap little board being an emulation console. And it's going to have its limitations, obviously, but I wanted to expand upon it, add more systems, test some stuff out, some CD-based consoles, Nintendo 64 as well, which I have my doubts, but I think we may be able to get a few games running all right. So we're going to check all that stuff out. My idea here is I'm going to continue building on this, adding stuff I'm interested in, not full complete libraries of everything, just a nice little like classic edition mini computer with a bunch of games that I think are fun, and that's it, and only have stuff that actually runs. So that's what I like to do. What I used to do with retropie builds is set them up, test as much as I could, weed out the stuff that doesn't work, and that's what I'm doing now. So I did try overclocking this thing a little bit, and it didn't really seem to improve performance, so I just put it back. But I do have a flirt case that I got for this board. It was like 15 bucks. It has a built-in heat sink. I saw a few people bringing up heat with these boards, and I really don't think you need to worry about heat if you're not overclocking this thing, or you're not running it in like 130 degree weather. Just you may not want it to be bare, but you get the $5 official case for it, the little plastic case, and it's going to be fine. The flirt case, yeah, you get a little heat dissipation with the built-in heat sink. It's like a $15 case. But that's what I bought just to check it out. But let's go ahead and jump into testing some things real quick. So I added stuff like 32X, Sega CD, not a ton of games, just a few things to see if these run well. Some handhelds, which I'd imagine are going to run fine, but we'll test them out. Game Boy Color. We had Mega Drive or Genesis, Super Nintendo, Neo Geo, and PS1 in the previous video, so we're not messing with that. Nintendo 64, I have a handful of games. Neo Geo, we tested out previously, NES. Then I added like Neo Geo Pocket Color, PC Engine, and PC Engine CD. I am going to add more PC Engine CD games to this and make its own category in the UI. But right now I just have Castlevania Rondo of Blood, and I want to see if that runs, because it'd be pretty sweet if this little board can run like all the TurboGrafx 16 and PC Engine CD games. That'd be pretty awesome. I'm just running this with a 64 gigabyte micro SD card. I keep showing the spare one I have. Like I have another one plugged in, but I got two of them. But let's keep it moving. PlayStation we already checked. So yeah, a handful of things. Nintendo 64 is going to be the one that's a little iffy, but let's just jump into a couple things real quick and see how these things run. So I've already scraped the artwork, just the built-in scraper, so no videos or anything, just box art. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep it simple. Just, clean, nice looking. Don't need because you download the videos and you put the video clips while it looks nice. The video clips are bigger than the games half of the time. I'd rather have more space for games. That's just me. So that's a decision that I, came to recently. Hey, we got like Mario versus Donkey Kong. The Switch version just came out. May as well check that out. I haven't played this in a long while. I still need to go pick up my my Switch copy from Best Buy. I want to go check them out too if they've gotten rid of all the physical media as well. As there's all those news stories. Those fools were getting rid of DVDs, Blu-rays, and all that stuff. Man, that sucks, dude. But yeah, Game Boy Advance. It's gonna be fine on this little board. But it's just to check, just to double check. But this is pretty sweet. Like, I barely showed anything in the, how do I pick oh, there we go. I barely showed anything in the other video, just those handful of systems. So, like I said, I just wanted to showcase more and more of what this thing is capable of, and possibly what it's not capable of by, checking out certain things. Oh, throw that little mini Mario. Okay, I mean, obviously, Game Boy Color is going to run fine, but this game is freaking booty, dude. Start to block, okay. All right, let's get out of there. What else do we got? We'll circle back on 64 in a moment. Neo Geo Pocket Color. There's some awesome freaking games for Neo Geo Pocket Color. Do I have Match of the Millennium? Yeah, I do. Of course it has to be on here. And I used to work in a warehouse in the early 2000s, and me and a buddy, we would bring Neo Geo Pocket Color, link them up, hide at toward the end of the day. Like, obviously we get our work done, but you know, we wanted to get paid, so I'm admitting it, I don't care. We bring Neo Geo Pocket Color, match to the Millennium, link cable. We had little tournaments hiding in the aisles. Hell yeah. Sega CD, I just have Sonic CD, but let's check it out. Okay, so I booted this game up and the audio was sounding a little off. I started to notice, so I just wanted to show you how you could change the emulator. So start the game, hit A, and you could select default emulator for the entire system or just for the ROM. I changed it to Pico Drive just for now. It was Genesis Plus GX, and the audio was like almost okay, but I could tell it was off a bit as far as the music goes and some of the sound effects. So I want to try it on Pico Drive instead. Now there's going to be other emulators you can download, you know, through the RetroPie setup on the main configuration screen, or UI, the front end. You can download other emulators and stuff like that to have more options. But I'm just going with right now what came pre-installed on the base RetroPie build. But okay, I can already tell the music sounds better. And that same screen that we went into, the launching screen, you could change resolution and aspect ratio and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, this sounds better. Yeah, it was a little distorted with the other emulator. But okay, this is good. So definitely I'm gonna want to put some more Sega CD games on this setup. And then we do have 32X. 32X should be fine, I would imagine. I never really played this one on the 32X. I had it on the Super Nintendo. And I think at some point I had it on the PlayStation as well. Oh, crap. Oh, kick him in his ass. Oh! Headbutt, fool. Let's try PC Engine CD, the Castlevania Rondo of Blood. I put the English version on here. I haven't scraped the artwork yet, though. I showed that in the previous video. All right, here we go. I'm going to cut out the whole big, long intro because it played fine. There was no issues with that, but it's long. Take up half of the video just to play that intro. You got to, like, save your game to skip that. Like, play the game one time and save. And then you get to skip the intro every time you boot it up again. First time you're forced to watch it. But this is awesome. Very, very good sign. Add some more TurboGrafx 16 and PC Engine CD games to the setup and make it its own category game list on the front end as well. I'm going to have to work on that. Okay, so I have a few games. I'm not going to test them all. I'm going to test like 2 or 3 in this video. But I'm going to test everything that I put on here when the build, you know, by the time the build's done. I'm not going to leave anything that doesn't run or run well enough. So let's try F-Zero X. It's just, yeah, a lot of these games, like there's going to be a vast majority of Nintendo 64 will probably not run on here. Maybe overclocking a little bit could help, but like I said, I wasn't really noticing much with overclocking, and I don't want to risk it with this little board. So Nintendo 64, it might wind up being just a very small handful of games. This one, once you're in the race, it seems to be okay. Not perfect, though. But it's pretty damn playable. But let's try something like Mario 64 or Star Fox 64. But this is pretty good. So I've been playing this a little bit just so I could save my game too, in case I need to exit and can come back easily. But it's not bad. Like here, when we enter the stage, I think it kind of slows down a little bit. Like right here, you could hear it too. But then like once you get right here, it just kind of smooths out and runs fine. So yeah, I don't know why. It's just Nintendo 64 emulation on certain devices. I mean, it's just not a crazy powerful board, so it is surprising to even get this much out of it. But you know, it's interesting. You know, Nintendo 64, when you boot a game up, it might like stutter a bit or slow down a little bit, and then it just kind of smooths out after a few seconds. Oh crap. But yeah, it seems there's some slowdown right there. Huh. There's going to be a tough decision. I may have to tweak some things. Could always lower the resolution too a little bit. You don't want it to be too crazy bad looking though. But lowering the resolution can help. We'll have to follow up on that in another video. But let's try Star Fox. Shadows are a little weird looking, like the darkness on the enemies and the on Fox's ship here. But this is surprisingly playable though. Just textures seem a little off. No problem, Slippy, you son of a bitch. But this game did the same thing as the other Nintendo 64 games, whereas like when you first got into it, it was kind of like the audio was all choppy and there was a little slowdown, but then it kind of smoothed out once you got into the game. That's what happened here, but now I don't know. Maybe I need to try a different emulator or something, but like, yeah, the textures and the shadows, everything looks like really dark. Oops. But this is good. This gives me an idea of what to work on with this build. And it brings me back, you know, to my roots of my YouTube channel, working on retropie builds, single board computer stuff, just straight up emulation tutorials and everything. I'm digging this. This is fun. It's bringing me back. And now I know what to focus on. This is what I used to do. Like, I would just play these games, see what works, what doesn't work, make tweaks to make the build better, to make the image better, and put them out there for people. That's what I did, you know? I know people were telling me, why are you messing with retropie? Why not something else? It's what I'm familiar with, and I just wanted to revisit it with this little $15 board. So that's where we're at. Definitely, I could see messing around with, you know, some other front ends in the future, but for now I want to wrap this thing up, get it set up the way I want it. Little 64 gigabyte build, I think, is where I'm going to stick to. Get it close to maxed out with everything that I want to play that this thing is capable of doing, and then just go from there. So let me know what you think. If you haven't watched the previous video that went a bit more in depth on how to do this stuff, how to get it set up, check it out. We did some testing on some games as well in that video. But let me know if you want me to continue on, you know, when I add stuff, when I test stuff, things that I find out, tweaks to Nintendo 64 that I possibly make. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.